Welcome, Age of Vintage Society. Simone Signoret began her acting career as an extra in French films during World War II. With a style that blends intelligence and sensuality, she eventually achieved international fame for her role in the British film Room at the Top, for which she won an Academy Award. Her second husband was the actor-singer Yves Montand, and they co-starred in numerous films. Today we are going to take a look at Simone Signoret's career, discuss how she was different than the average actress, and how Simone Signoret proved that beauty is not everything in Hollywood. Make sure to watch the video until the end and leave your thoughts in the comments. If you are new here, join our wonderful community by subscribing to the Age of Vintage channel. The secret to Simone Signoret's staying power. From early on in her adult life, Simone Signoret learned how to be other without denying her identity, and the integrity this showed was reflected throughout her acting career. Simone Signoret, original name Simone Kaminka, born March 25, 1921. At the time of the German occupation, in her hopes of pursuing a career in movies, she changed her last name to Signoret, her mother's maiden name, but did not renege on her Jewish heritage, refusing to be baptized Protestant. Under occupation law, her Jewish identity automatically excluded her from obtaining a work permit and put her at risk of being denounced, thereby facing immediate arrest, imprisonment without trial, and eventual deportation to a concentration camp. But Signoret's main purpose in adopting a non-Jewish name was less to hide than to be able to obtain walk-on parts in films without being asked to show a work permit. Moved to Paris with her family while still a child, eventually forced to work as a typist to support family when the Germans invaded Paris, and her Jewish father fled to London. After several years working as an extra in films, was given her first leading role, beginning her career as a versatile and accomplished character actress of the French screen. As a teenager, she began to frequent the Café de Fleury, a popular meeting place for leftist artists and intellectuals. There she befriended, among others, writer Jacques Prévert and film director Yves Allégret, whom she later married, and decided to become an actress. An actress known for her portrayal of fallen romantic heroines and headstrong older women. Her tumultuous marriage to actor Yves Montand and the couple's championing of several left-wing causes often provoked controversy and brought her notoriety. Signoret was the first French actress to receive an Academy Award. Simone Signoret is a very popular German-born French actress. She is acclaimed as one of the greatest actresses to have graced France's film industry. Signoret was the first French actress to receive an Academy Award as Best Actress in a Leading Role in 1960. She won the award for her impressive performance and display of talent in the film Room at the Top in 1959. It was the same film which brought her to stardom and also international fame. Signoret gradually became one of the most decorated actresses after winning an Emmy, 2 Césars, an NBR Award, 3 BAFTAs, and Cannes Film Festival Award, among others. She can be said as one of the few actresses with thick skin to withstand any critics. Signoret's growing popularity gained the attention of Hollywood, but turned down most invitations she was offered there. Her performances are marked by their minimalism and restraint, relying on small gestures, her incendiary eyes, a look, a purposeful walk, and few words. Signoret's career took a significant detour in 1949 when she met Montand, for whom she eventually divorced Allégret. She married Montand in 1951 and began limiting her projects in order to spend more time with him. After working in 12 films in less than 8 years and establishing herself as a leading actress of the French screen, Signoret retired to the south of France during the summer of 1949, taking Catherine, her daughter and Allégret's son, from a previous marriage with her. It was during her stay at a luxurious hotel in Saint-Paul-de-Vence, not far from Nice, that Signoret's life took another turn, as significant as the night 9 years before when she had walked into the Café de Fleury. She met and fell in love with Yves Montand, a nightclub and cabaret performer about to become the most popular entertainer in France. Montand had come to the same hotel to recover from a 2-year affair with singer Edith Piaf, and often recalled his first sight of Simone Signoret in August 1949, standing, formidably blonde, in a sun-drenched courtyard, surrounded by hovering doves. I approached softly, trying not to disturb the doves. The next 4 days was a swirl of l'amour fou. We had been struck by lightning, Signoret said, and something indiscreet and irreversible happened. Yves Allégret was surprised to find Simone waiting on the road near the hotel with the children on the day he came to join her, and was forced to accept Signoret's declaration that she had fallen in love with another man and wanted a divorce. Leaving her daughter with Allégret, Signoret moved in with Montand at his flat in Neuilly. The two became inseparable, Simone forsaking her film work, not to mention Catherine, to accompany Montand on tour. "If Yves cannot live without singing," she declared, "I cannot live without him." Although Signoret reacted bravely in public to her husband's widely known affair with Monroe, his co-star in the aptly titled 1960s Hollywood film Let's Make Love, remarking, "How many men do you know who could resist Marilyn Monroe?" she was privately devastated. She married Montand in 1951, and he was a devoted father to her daughter, Catherine. As Catherine grew up into a young woman with the captivating beauty of her mother, Montand's affections turned from purely paternal to those of a lover. The weight of an enormous guilt had deformed her relationships with others. The weight of the secret which surrounded these relationships had the effect of amplifying her feeling of isolation. Signoret and her daughter chose to remain silent about their family's secret. Signoret remained with Montand until her death in 1985. In all instances, her performances are marked by their minimalism. She inhabits her roles while simultaneously displaying her own strength and intelligence. After honing her skills in the early years, Signoret began to embody variations of the intelligent woman, often politically engaged and sexually mature, even if, as with earlier roles, she still loses out. As she aged, Signoret brought to her roles an aura of wisdom, playing women who remain strong and who are capable of everyday courage, while also being emotionally alive. Curiously, unlike most female film stars, as she aged and her looks declined, prematurely in her case, from the early 1960s due to alcohol and cigarettes, Signoret was as much in demand by filmmakers as in her early years. There are 2 main reasons for this longevity. First, she never conformed to the expectations of a female star. At the height of her attractiveness in the early era, it was not Signoret who was emblematic of France's concept of beauty, nor did she strive to be, but Brigitte Bardot. Let's stop for a minute and just think about it. Why an average woman could more rely on Simone than Brigitte Bardot? Did the beauty industry have such a strong impact on women even then? Do not hesitate to share your opinions in the comment section. In 1950s France, the female star's body was supposed to be the sight and sight of sexual beauty, in excess, but only in the sense of the body as spectacle. Signoret's performance was the exact opposite in its lack of excess. In her minimalism, she reaches us through her body as the site of performance, not display. Instead of being an object of the gaze, she asserts her agency. A watchable, intelligent woman throughout her career, Signoret's continued success, despite her aging body, she stated, "I'm fat and ugly and I'm going to use it," and she harnessed those traits to her advantage. The second reason for her longevity is linked to the first, her authenticity. Signoret's performances strike us through their veracity. She has the right touch and gestures. Her voice through all the stages of her career excites the ear. Her manner of speaking and gesturing has a way of leaving life in the air, as if offering a history to which we are all privy. Her authenticity lies in her being available to us, in her ordinariness and her courage. Her understated clothing, her roles, nearly all of them ordinary women, her weaving of her own pastimes, such as knitting and crosswords, into her characterizations. Her insolence, often indicated through her stance, hands firmly lodged on her hips. Her vulgarity, particularly the way she holds cigarettes and stamps them out. Her vulnerability, hinted at through her lisp. All of this makes her accessible. But so too does the authenticity she had as a real person. She was a politicised, active and intelligent woman, espousing many social and judicial causes. In the 1950s she signed the Stockholm Peace Agreement. In the 1960s she campaigned for the legalisation of abortion. In the 1970s she petitioned for better prison conditions and for workers' rights, while also fighting for the release of left-wing intellectuals. And in the early 1980s she helped to promote the anti-racism movement SOS Racism. In her acting she did not create characters, rather she created existences by inhabiting the roles, becoming both herself and other. Signoret said she felt that because she always stayed in touch with what went on in the outside world, she was able to play so many different characters. Unlike many stars, Signoret felt substantial. She had matter and could be touched. Her aura was counterpointed by an everyday normality that allowed her to continue to star in films years after she stopped being a beauty, because being a beauty was not the issue, being able to perform was. Therein lies her specialness. She was never commodified, thus never fixed. She created a freedom for herself that allowed her to go through all ages of womanhood in spectacular form. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. Now it is your turn. What do you think? What made Simone Signoret so emblematic and iconic for the women's society?